Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in this video I want to share with you 5 summer DIYs for 4th of July. They're very patriotic. I love decorating for 4th of July, and you guys know that I love to start the door, so I'm going to show you some door hangers. I'm going to show you a tablescape, a lantern. Is going to be so much fun, and I really think that you're going to enjoy this compilation of past projects that we've done here at Ramon at Home. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on so you're notified about every single update coming to the channel. And if you guys are ready, it's time to get started with a summer DIY number 1. Keep watching. Okay, so the very first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add some greens to my container right here, and I'm gonna split these little stems into 3 because they're pretty full. So to give me more bang for my buck, I'm gonna go ahead and split them, and that is a tip I can give you. You feel free to cut your stems because you pay for them, so don't let anyone tell you. Plus, you know what, you cut them short, later you might be able to use them for another project. So basically what I want to do is just add a little bit of greenery to this basket, because if you've been following the channel, you know that in the floral industry there is no floral arrangement without greenery, because it's what supports your flowers. You know, flowers don't grow in the nature without foliage, so that's why we always try to add some sort of foliage to our floral arrangement. So remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this tall one right here to give us some height. Then I'm gonna split this one right here into 2, and I have 2 longer ones, so go ahead and give them a bend and let them hang forward so that way your basket looks fuller. Oh, and you know what, go ahead and grab your spray and give it a light spray just so they look a little bit more alive. What I like about this leaf spray is because it removes the dust from your foliage and it just makes it look brand new and fresh. All right, so now that we have some of this foliage on our basket, I'm gonna go ahead and bring our blue flowers that I went ahead and spray painted. Now I want to show you a trick real quick, and you guys have seen this before. This is a shorter flower, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of these skewers right here. Then I'm gonna grab my florist tape. So basically just put your roll of tape right here and you start covering both stems together very tightly, and remember, you pull this tape and it becomes tacky, and so now you have a longer stem to insert your flower with. And in this occasion I'm gonna cut right here, and I'm going to poke my flower right here, and I just love the sound of the flowers going down. So remember, what goes up must come down, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a bend right here, and I'm gonna add it in this corner, and what happens on your right happens on your left. Sometimes I go backwards, but that's just because I know that if I go up, I'm gonna have to come down. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy right here, giving it a bend. I want it to be kind of floppy and kind of bigger than the little basket. I still want to be able to see the basket right here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these beautiful roses that I had from Valentine's Day. And as you guys can see, I just like to store them all together. That way, well, I'm not looking for them, because it is so easy to just lose your crafts. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this guy right here, and I'm gonna insert at the same height. However, I do want to go ahead and insert together, so that way there's more like clusters of flowers instead of having them polka dotted. And I'm gonna come down right here with another one closer to the rim of the container. Then I'm gonna move a little bit this way right here, and I'm gonna bring my red all the way around. I'm gonna do the same over here. So I'm gonna grab this rose and put it right here. And remember to always group them together, so that way they make more of an impact right here. And then I'm gonna grab another short one, and I'm gonna insert right here. Perfect. So that way I have a lot of red all the way around. Let me see if I have another shorter one over here somewhere. I thought I did. How are you guys doing, by the way? Are you enjoying your summer so far? Can you believe it's so warm here in San Diego, and I just love it. I love the heat. I love going to the beach for a walk. All right, so I then added some of that red. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some of my flags. And I'm gonna start with 3 and let them hang forward like this. I'm gonna start right here on the side like that. And see, this one is kind of short. I want it to be taller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the blue flowers. So basically, I'm just going to grab my tape and very tightly. You have to do it very tightly so it sticks together. And that gives us a longer stem. And that way I can insert all the way up here. Look at this. And always letting them hang forward. Then I'm gonna grab another one. I'm gonna put to the other side, but I do feel like I also need a little height on it. And I really hope you are enjoying these DIYs. Do you guys are as excited as I am for the fall DIYs? You know, we start all our DIYs for fall and then for the holiday season. So I'm so excited. I have so many ideas that I cannot wait for you guys to see about fall and Christmas. I don't want to say that word very out loud. So I'm gonna add this guy right here and always give him a little bit of a lean so that way the flag has some way to fall forward. And I just love, 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 love the way this looks. All right, so far so good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this ribbon and I'm gonna grab my scissors from over here because I'm going to need them. So I wanna do a little bow hanging down and I want it to be a little bit longer than normal. So I'm gonna give this much of a tail. Then I'm going to pinch right here. And this beautiful blue and white ribbon came from Hobby Lobby. I was obsessed when I saw it. And I'm just gonna do a really quick bow. So basically just spin around. You wanna see the designer part of your ribbon showing. So there's two. And then I think I'm going to do one more right here. If you guys don't know how to make a bow, I have a video on how to make 3 styles of bows that I'm gonna link down below. However, I'm warning you, that music, it's really loud because it was like my 3rd video that I ever made. And so you guys can learn how to make a bow. However, it is pretty loud. All right, so now I'm gonna grab a little pipe cleaner. I'm gonna go through right here. And then I'm going to pull back very tight to tie it all together. Then what I want you to do is grab one of your stems from your florals that I'm always telling you guys to keep, or any skewer, and then what you're going to do is you're going to tie this into that very tight, and that way it gives you a stem. You just want to swirl this around, make sure it secures. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my bow right here. Like this. So now I'm just going to fluff the bow. I'm gonna put this in the door and show you what it looks like, so keep watching. All right, everyone, so I just wanna show you real quick what the door hanger looks like, and look at those flags go. Isn't this such a cute idea? But as you guys can see, the bow really makes a statement, and the blue and the white and the red is just so patriotic. So this is something that you can do for your door, and your door will scream 4th of July. And people will also love it. What do you guys think? If you've been following the channel for a while, or if you're new to this channel, you need to know that I love to decorate for all the seasons, whether it's spring, summer, fall, and especially for Christmas. And I love to do also seasonal decorating, and you guys know that decorating starts at the door, so that's why I always like to do a little piece of decoration for my door. And this basket turned out so beautiful. But now I'm gonna put you into my living room. I'm gonna show you how I decorate the mantle, starting with a beautiful floral arrangement that is going to be a beautiful statement on my mantle. So let's watch. All right, so to make this bouquet, the first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna grab some of these greeneries, and I want to make sure that they go into the container. There's no foam or anything. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop it there, and I'm gonna use just whatever greeneries I had laying around. And I do have a few of these beautiful ferns, and you guys been following the channel, you know fern is perhaps one of my favorite greeneries to work with. And I'm gonna go ahead and insert this tall one right here in the middle. This is gonna give us some height like this, and it's gonna match the other one. Then I'm gonna grab this sprig right here, and I'm gonna add that also in the middle. And you know what, is bent, so I'm gonna bend that to insert, and that's what's gonna give us the tallest height. And I wanna make sure the curves to one side is gonna enter like this. Actually needs to go to the other side because this one goes to the other side of the mantle. You have to keep in mind that they already have, or I already have the one on my left. So I'm gonna do my right and they have to meet in the middle. So they have to curve to the opposite side. Then I have this olive branch that I'm also going to insert right here just to give it a little bit more of a natural look. And also that stiff branch really serves as anchor. Let me fold this one in the bottom right here. And then I'm gonna finish with this tiny little guy right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. Then what you're going to do is you're gonna grab a zip tie and you're gonna zip tie all of this together. Never letting go of your core because that's where you're going to tie. And it does kind of become easy. You know, it'd be easier if we had a third hand, but unfortunately we're humans. All right, no, actually fortunately. All right, so I'm gonna zip tie this together right here. All right, so now that we have our greenery standing up where it needs to be, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start introducing the delphinium, and I'm gonna start with this one right here on the top. And you wanna start with the tallest one first, so I'm gonna add a blue one. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to the other side and add a white one, making sure that it goes into the container like this. And then I want to make sure that it spills forward a little bit. Remember, this is the front of our bouquet. So I'm gonna grab another delphinium and just go ahead and insert and scale it down a little bit. So I'm gonna grab a white one now, and I'm gonna go over to this side. Remember, this is going to be facing that way, so I want most of my flowers to be on this side. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of these hydrangea, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert this one right here on the container, just making sure that it pokes out a little bit. I'm gonna grab another one right here, and just go ahead and make sure that they go closer to the rim of the mouth of your container. Let me spin this around a little bit so I can insert another one right here. We're gonna use about 5, and don't be afraid to, you know, mess up with your bouquet a little bit, and then you can always go back and fluff at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and fluff once I put my flags on the mantle. So I'm gonna insert another one right here in the middle, making sure that goes into the container. And look how pretty that's looking. It's very natural looking, and it's going to give it a really floral designer look to your mantle. I'm gonna add that one right there. Let me see, where do I need another one? I think I'm gonna insert this one right here. And like I said, don't be afraid to mess up with your bouquet, and then later on you can always go back and play with it. I'm gonna add one more hydrangea right here. All right, so this is what this is going to look like. I'm gonna put this on the mantle, add the flags, and show you the end result. Keep watching. Okay, so we've installed our floral bouquet right here on the mantle, and I went ahead and give it a fluff. Sometimes you have to put it where it needs to go. Take some stems out and replace them where you think they look best. So now what I'm going to do is I have 3 American flags, and I'm gonna go ahead and add the big one right here to the bottom. Just make sure you go through all of those stems and go into the vase or the container like that, letting the flag hang so it looks like it's on the air. Then I have 2 of the little ones. I'm gonna add one right here to the side as well. It's so easy, and this is what's gonna make your bouquet look very patriotic. You have to make sure that it looks like it's flying like this. And I'm gonna add yet another one over to this side. And I think 3 is just plenty for this large bouquet. As you guys can see, this is a very cohesive look by using the flags on the basket, on the door, and then also on the mantle. It really brings the eye all throughout the house, and it makes it very cohesive. Now I'm gonna show you how I make a beautiful centerpiece using the same little flags, continuing the cohesion of our look. Let's watch. All right, everyone, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring in my candle, reintroduce it into my centerpiece as well as my hurricane, just to make sure that I have space and that I'm poking flowers right here in the focal point area of this centerpiece. I'm going to go ahead and click it, and I'm just obsessed with these candles because, well, they work with a remote as well as a timer, and that way if you just want to set them on a timer, you can forget about them for 8 hours and they'll go off and then turn back on at the same time. But I like I'm not gonna lie, I like the remote better. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring in my 2 hydrangeas. that I have, and I'm gonna put them right here, right on the top. And remember to go opposite side when you insert the next one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut right here, and I'm gonna add my hydrangea right here and make sure they are about the same height. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring in some roses. So opposite right here, I'm gonna add a set of 3 red roses, and I went ahead and pre-cut them so that way it's faster. I might have to cut some, so I'm gonna do a triangle of 3 right here. Then I'm gonna spin all the way around to this other void, and then I'm going to do another triangle of 3. And see, this is why I want to put my hurricane first, because that way I know where I can insert flowers when I am working. All right, so I'm gonna do 3 like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come over here under this hydrangea, and I'm gonna bring a set of 2, and I want to tuck them in really close to the hydrangea so it looks like they are part of it. So there's 1. I'm gonna add 1 right here, so that's 2. Then I'm gonna spin all the way around, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing right here. I'm gonna add 2 hydrangeas, I'm sorry, 2 roses right next to the hydrangea, like this, just to give it a little support to the flower right here. So far, this is what it looks like. I think it looks really cute. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these baby's breath, and I will have to cut some of this shorter. About this short. Then what I want to do is I'm going to introduce it right here, right in between the hydrangea and the roses, and then I'm going to spin all the way around to the other side, and I'm going to mimic what I just did with this baby's breath. So basically just insert as far down as I can, like that, and look at that. It's just giving it that color that it needs to be a more patriotic look. Then I'm going to come right here, going down like this, and then I'm going to spin all the way around, and I'm gonna do another one right here. Remember, what goes up must come down. That is the #1 rule. What happens on the left happens on the right. What goes up must come down. So as you guys can see, there's 2 up, 2 down. I'm gonna cut this one into 2, so that way I have a few more. And these cutters are the best cutters in the market, you guys. I cannot work without my cutters. All right, so I'm gonna spin all the way around. I'm gonna do another one right here. Then I'm gonna cut this guy short to make 2. And like I'm always telling you, don't be afraid to cut your flowers, because you can always use them for another project. If you don't cut them, you're just struggling bending stems, and well, that's not a good look, especially for centerpieces like this. Look how beautiful this is so far. All right, so far so good. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this package of little stars from the dollar store, and I'm going to bring out my skewers. I'm going to set them right here. So I'm going to dump them right here. And what you want to do is you want to break your skewer in half, and then what you want to do is you want to, let me start with the blue ones because I think they're super cute. You just poke this star right there, and then you're going to bring that and put it right there. And you want to do sets also of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So I'm gonna do 2 right here. Let me see if I can find my foam. And then I'm gonna add a little one. I need to break my skewer. And these are found at the dollar store, the skewers and the little stars. All right, so there's 3. How cute is that, you guys? All right, so I'm gonna add another set right here, but this time I'm going to first of all break my skewers so it's faster. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna poke this red one right here. So now I want to do a set of 3 right here, insert into your foam. And what I like about this is because they're made out of styrofoam and they're super easy to poke too. And then I'm going to grab a tiny little one. Oh, let's see, here's another skewer. You could put a little dab of hot glue if you wanted to, but I'm not going to because I will probably take this apart and store it. There's 3, and so now right here I'm going to do a set of 3, but this time I'm gonna do it in the white, so that way we have a set of red, white, and blue. And I'm gonna put one up here like that. I'm gonna bring a second one. Always try and work on sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s, because not only they show better, but they don't look polka dotted throughout your centerpiece or any arrangement that you're making. And if you polka dot them, they just don't look right, I don't think. So I'm gonna add a third one right here. Look how cute this is, you guys. All right, so now what I'm going to do to finish this off, let me pick up these little stars first of all. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna add 2 flags because we've had our lantern and our door hanger having flags like this. And so I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tape this one together because I want it to sit higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring out my tape out of my drawer. And you guys have seen me do this before where I can just pull my tape and then you're gonna bond these two together with this florist tape because it has a tacky material. But the secret here is that once you bond them together, you could have to continue to cover the skewer all the way down so that way it looks cohesive. All right, so let me see how far I want it to be. Do I want it that high? No, I think that's too high. So I'm gonna break it down a little bit. And then inserting sideways like this, now you have a beautiful 4th of July centerpiece for your 4th of July celebration. All right, so now it's time to set the table and show you what this looks like. Wasn't that super easy? And I promise you, it's so affordable to make these beautiful centerpieces for your table, your coffee table, or even a side entrance table. It is so much fun. And now I'm going to share with you how I put a beautiful lantern together in 2 steps. First, I'm gonna make an arrangement with the same little flags that is going to go inside, and then I'm gonna decorate the top, and I'm gonna show you the end result after this. Keep watching. Okay, so for this part of the DIY, I'm gonna use the white picture. I'm gonna use a selection of American flags. God bless the USA. I'm gonna use a little bit of the green moss from Walmart. And then also I'm gonna use some leftover red roses that I already had from past projects. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you that I already put some used foam in here because, well, I like to recycle my foam until I cannot recycle it any longer. So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this green moss and I'm going to cover this foam as much as I can around the perimeter because I don't want it to be too hard for the flags to go in. So just make sure that you moss around the perimeter. I'm gonna get rid of this guy right here. I think this is plenty. And if you've been following the channel, I'm sure you know that I like to spill over because it looks a little bit more genetic and organic. So that's what this is looking like. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these red roses and I'm gonna go ahead and add here around the perimeter. And what I want to do is give it a little bit of space so I can insert some greenery. And I'm gonna spin around and just continue to adding this guy right here. I'm gonna grab some pieces of greenery that I had just laying around, and I just want a little bit, but remember, you cannot make a floral arrangement without some sort of greenery. So I'm just gonna add a few sprigs of greenery in between my roses, like this. Perfect. Then I'm going to add a few more up here on the top, just staggering them up, kind of like a step ladder, like this. Then I'm gonna bring this guy right here. All right, so far so good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these American flags and I'm gonna insert this right here and just making sure that they all fall to the same side. I'm gonna spin around my bouquet and see how they're falling. They're folding to the same side like this. And it has to be wide enough for the lantern to fit inside the lantern. So I'm gonna go ahead and add one more right here, making sure they falls to the same side. Then I'm gonna add a few of them up here on the top, just sitting straight up. How cute is this, you guys? All right, I'm gonna make sure that this falls like that. And then what I wanna do is I'm gonna fill in with the rest of the roses, just filling in gaps like this, where you can see, I can see right here, I don't know if you guys can see, but I can see a few holes. So that's why it's good to have a few extra of these flowers, just to make sure. And you know what, I'm gonna take these and just kind of spin them around like this, and then insert the flag. That way it has more space for the flowers to show, since we have a lot of the perfect, that's cute. That way you can see the flowers over here. All right, so I think we're getting to the point where I'm gonna just go ahead and install it inside of the lantern. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I hope you are ready, because who doesn't like to decorate a lantern for the seasons? And you guys know that here at Ramon at Home, we love to decorate a lantern all year round. So that's why I always encourage you to go out shopping and find yourself the lantern that you want to decorate all year. And in my case, I love this one because it's pretty big and you can add some big elements inside and you can really make a statement in your decorating. All right, so I want to start with this red ribbon that I got from the dollar store. And you guys know that I like to buy in bulk. This actually was from Valentine's Day. So I go ahead, when I find the red and the green and the gold, you know, I can use it all year round in my decorating. All right, so I'm gonna start right here and I'm gonna go ahead and pinch. You guys have seen me this before. If you are new to the channel, I just want to welcome you and let you know that, you know, we are getting ready for the fall season. This 4th of July series is the last in our decorating for the seasons before we really get started with fall. And then after fall, it's the most wonderful time of the year. So I really want to encourage you to continue watching here Ramon at Home, because it's about to get really fun. And as I mentioned to you before, I do have my Lazy Susan, and I'm going to link down below the items that I can find so you guys can go look for them. Like this Lazy Susan, I know I can find it on down below. You can get yourself one. It really does come in handy if you are looking for something to spend your projects. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here. Now I'm gonna consider the fact that this is going to be sitting on my entryway table, so therefore it doesn't really have to be finished on the back, but we'll go ahead and do a little touch on the back right here, just because we have some ribbon left. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pinch in the middle right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and tie very securely, and then I'm gonna spin to one side. I'm gonna do a few bigger loops, and I'm gonna attach with the bristles. And you know, I love working with Christmas garlands and wreaths because it really just becomes so much easier to attach to your bristles. And this is a secret from the floral industry. You know, I don't wanna say I was the first one, but now everybody's doing it. I've never really seen anyone else on YouTube do it, but we started doing it and now everybody's using those wreaths for pretty much every season. I am so glad that everybody is, because it really saves you a lot of time and money when you are decorating any decor. All right, make sure that you dovetail your ribbons, because if you don't, and if I come to your house, I'm gonna do it for you. All right, so we started with the red, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this blue and white ribbon, and I love to have a cohesive look in my home, so I like to use the same elements all throughout my home when I'm decorating for the seasons. That way when somebody walks into your home, it's going wrapping the eye around, which means that anywhere your eye goes and there's a seasonal decorating, it's all cohesive and all the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of this blue right here, and I'm gonna leave a longer tail for this one. This is going to be my last tail. So once again, just grabbing some of these bristles and pinching probably about 6 inches on each. And I do want this ribbon to show a little bit more, so I'm gonna bring it forward. Whatever ribbon or element you wanted to show more, you need to bring it forward. You guys can see the red right here. Then I'm gonna do the blue closer to where you can see it, because that's what's more of a statement piece. The red is just an accent. And as you guys can see, just because it is a patriotic look and you have to have all the colors of the flag, which is red, white, and blue. And by the way, if you have any children or any spouses that serve in the military, well, thank them for all of us for their service. We honor every single one that has served in our military. All right, so I'm going to dovetail right here about the same height, and then I'm gonna do the same on the back. This is our back. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the leftover ribbon and I'm gonna pinch right here in the middle, and then I'm just going to create a few loops so it's cohesive all the way around like this. And then don't forget to leave some tails. Then I'm gonna spin around. You know, this Lazy Susan is perhaps the best investment if you are a crafter, if you do centerpieces, if you do lanterns like this, because it really does help you have some balance in your arrangements. All right, so far this is what it looks like. I am loving the look. I'm not gonna lie to you, but what is next is I'm gonna bring some greenery, and this is where we're gonna have our hot glue pan already installed and preheated, because we're actually going to glue into this garland to create a more beautiful look. And so I have some greeneries that I'm going to basically just dip into my glue, and this is also going to be linked down below. If you are a crafter and if you don't have a glue pen, I don't know if you're a crafter really, because this will make your life so much easier. It is cheaper than having a hot glue gun. And what I like about this is because this glue is actually glue to where the silicone of the hot glue is, or the gun is just plastic. So these will stand out to the heat outside, and it just makes sense to have something more strong. And if you're making these projects to sell, well, you don't want your customers to have a fallen branch or flower or stem or ornament, anything that you're gluing to it all stay right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this a little shorter. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. So make sure that you know if you put one right here, you need to spin around immediately, and then you're going to go ahead and put another one up here, right about the same height, so you're creating that balance. I'm gonna add one right here in the front, right there. And what I want to do is I want the eye to think that this is not a Christmas garland, so that's why you want to add some of this greenery. What goes up must come down. What happens on the left happens on the right. So I'm gonna add some longer pieces like this right here. Now all of this greenery came from past projects, you guys. I'm always telling you to recycle your decor pieces, your crafting pieces, because then you don't have to go out and buy. Like all these, as soon as 4th of July is over, I'm going to take it apart, and I should probably make a video about how I take them apart and store them. Thumbs up or leave me a comment down below if you guys want to see a video on how to store your past projects, because I do have a system that works for me. That way, when I'm making projects like this, well, I don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars when I am crafting for the seasons. Because, you know, I'm always telling you to save yourself some money on these type of holidays, but when Christmas comes, well, we like to splurge because we like to change our themes, we like to make new things like this. All right, so far I love the way this is looking. I'm gonna put all of this greenery over here. I'm gonna get a few more elements ready and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so the next element I'm going to add is going to be some blue flowers. And once again, I'm just gonna go ahead and dip into my glue, and I'm gonna start up here on the top, and I'm gonna kind of push them forward. So what happens on the left happens on the right. And if it is too long, go ahead and clip your flower. And for this particular lantern, I'm only going to use 4 of these flowers. Just find a place right here where you can actually see that flower. And then I'm gonna grab one of these hydrangeas and I'm gonna bring it over to this side. Happens on the left, happens on the right. And I just wanna make sure that they are kind of loosely placed into place. And if you want to make sure that they are secure, just grab one of your bristles and spin it around your flower. So that way, between the glue and the bristle, honey, that flower ain't going nowhere. So I'm gonna spin over to this side, and I'm gonna grab some of this glue and dip it in. How easy it is to just have this glue. If you have purchased yourself a glue pen, be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what do you think versus having a hot glue gun and having your glue pen. Look how faster creating something beautiful really is. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these red roses that I am in love with. These are from the Walmart store, and they usually have flowers like this. And remember when we did that swag for the door, or that hanger for the door, I told you that you have to group flowers together, right? Because they make more of an impact. And if you work in the floral industry, you know that you have to work with sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So I'm gonna do a set of 3 right here. Then I'm gonna bring a set of 2 over to this side and basically just dipping into the glue, and that hangs on to your garland so good. Be sure to give it a curvature like this, dip into your glue. And what that curvature is allows it to stay where you put it. So I'm gonna add this right here. So there's 3, 2. And then I'm going to, I'll go over to this side and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm gonna add a set of 3 right here, not without giving it a little vent. And I'm going to add this one right here. And as soon as that glue sets, that flower is not going anywhere, I promise. See how much of an impact that makes by having the 3 flowers together? Okay, so I'm gonna add one more. Now, a lot of people have told me, you know, this glue is kind of stringy, but here's the secret. When you're done with your project, grab your hair dryer and just hair dry the project, and it'll take all of those glue strings away. They'll just melt into whatever you're making and you'll never see them again. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring one here, like this. And I'm gonna add one more right there. And then also be sure to put them like up and down. That way they look more natural. If you are just putting them one way, they don't look as natural as they could. But if you're just adding flowers left, right, because that's how the flowers grow, you know, they don't all grow facing one way. I'm gonna add some over here on the top because it'll be in a place where you actually get to see some of the top. Right now I'm gonna add 2 over on this side like that. Then I'm gonna spin my lantern around, then I'm gonna add 2 more in here. And I do have to save some for the arrangement that is going to go on the inside. So I'm gonna add one there. And then I'm going to add yet another one here. All right, let's see. So far, so good. I love it. But I feel like this arrangement does need a little bit of sparkle. And so the way I'm gonna integrate that is by adding some of these ornaments. These are your regular Christmas ornaments. And here's a tip, you guys. Like this one just fell out. It has a wire, I'm gonna wire it together, but they fell out. So it does take a lot of time, but when Christmas comes, just go ahead and dip this tiny little cup and then put it down and hold it for a few seconds. And I promise you, this ornament is never gonna lose its cup. See how easy they come, especially if they're, after they've been in storage. So just basically dip it and then put it down like that and it'll stay. I don't think this one will need it. No, this one's pretty strong. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna look for a spot like right here, and then I'm going to open up and I'm gonna grab the wire and then I'm going to spin it around like this. And I'm gonna add a little one here. And I just want a few of them. I don't want it to look like Christmas. However, I do want it to be more of a celebration. And well, there's no better celebration than a Christmas ornament. All right, so I'm gonna spin around and I'm gonna add one right here on the top and add this guy right here. Look how fabulous this is. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna secure this one right here. And then I'm gonna switch to this side and I'm gonna put one right here by this flower, making sure that you see it. And just go ahead and grab that wire on your ornament and then spin it into the bristle and look, it'll stay anywhere you want. I have a few more, so I'm gonna add one here. And basically I'm just gonna spin it around on this flower. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this series for 4th of July. Be sure to share with a friend, let them know about Ramon at home. Let them know that we are going into the best season yet. My favorite season. I'm gonna add one here in the front. All right, let's see. You know, who says the ornaments have to be just for the holidays? Look how pretty this looks. And I feel like I need to add a few more flowers right here by this ornament. Right here, perfect. All right, so far so good. I'm loving the look. However, I do have some of this baby's breath, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and attach right here. Look how pretty, just a little touch of that. And like that. I'm gonna add a few over to this side. And sometimes you have to be really fast with this glue because it'll dry on you and, well, you don't want that. All right. So I have a few. I'm gonna add one here to the top. Let's see, actually to the front, but I'm gonna cut it first because it's way too long. Don't be afraid of cut your stems, you guys. You know, if you cut it and if you don't want to use it again this project, just store them like I tell you, and it'll come in handy later. Or I'm gonna add one here. All right, so that's what the top looks like. I'm gonna fix the inside of it, but for that, I'll be right back. Keep watching. Okay, so I thought I would show you guys the end result, and I just love the way this swag turned out. I wanna point out that I added a bow to the top just to cap it all together, but look how beautiful all the roses and the blue and white ribbon look. And on the inside, it's our beautiful arrangement with flags and with all of the goodies with the picture. It just absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to read your comments. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what do you think. Wasn't that lantern absolutely gorgeous? I promise you it makes a statement, and it is so affordable to make. If I can make it, so can you. All you have to do is give it a try. But now that we have the door all decorated with the little flags, we also have the mantelpiece with a beautiful arrangement of flowers and flags, and we also have a beautiful centerpiece. Now I'm going to share with you how we're going to put together a beautiful tablescape. Keep watching. Okay, so I want to show you how I set a table for 4th of July, and I'm gonna start with these placemats to where most people would like to use it horizontally like this. I like to use it vertical because it gives it more character. I like the way this looks. Then I like to bring a white dish, and if you've been following the channel, you know that all you need is a set of white dishes because they will get you all throughout the year, and they are just perfect for 4th of July. So I put a white plate down. Then I have some of these flags from the dollar store, and I'm gonna use it just as a charger because I wanna be able to see the stars right here. You can see the stripes on this placemat, but I wanna be able to see the stars. So I'm gonna put that down, and then I'm gonna use it to break down the next plate right here. As you guys can see, you can just see the stars. The stripes really blend in with the placemat, and I just love the way this looks. Then for my napkin, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this napkin. I'm gonna just go ahead and do a knot, making sure that all the triangles go in, like this one right here. Make sure that you put it in. It looks like a knot, and then you just go ahead and place it right here to the side, making sure that all the seams go in like this. And I'm gonna bring some wine glasses, these beautiful red wine glasses that I just purchased at a thrift store, and this blue one right here. And to finish it all off, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and you guys will see how the red really pops right here. And this is another find from the thrift store right here, these blue soul shakers that I am obsessed with. So it's time to put it all together. All right, everyone, so the very first step that we're going to do is we're gonna put some of this green moss around our foam. And as you guys can see, I already done one because I wanted to cut the time in half. But it's very easy. You basically just go around the perimeter of your foam, and then that way you have mechanics that are more clean. I need a little bit more because you don't want to be able to see the foam. We're still gonna poke flowers, and you'll hide some of that with the flowers, but I also like it when it's a little wild like this and it's just plopping down because it makes it look and feel more organic. So I'm not gonna worry about much of this. I'm going to try and do these floral bouquets or centerpieces side by side so you guys can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm gonna bring some of these beautiful eucalyptus, and I'm gonna grab my wire cutters, and I'm gonna start poking. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, but because we have two centerpieces, then you have to be able to work side by side and repeat the steps on both, because that's what's gonna give your centerpiece balance. So what happens to the left happens to the right, and then the lazy Susan really comes in handy to swirl around your bouquets, to spin them around, and to be able to work at the same time. All right, I think I have one more, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half. And that's another secret I can give you, is when you have two dual centerpieces like this, it's just better if you start cutting your greenery in half and your florals in half. That way you have a really cohesive look. All right, so I'm gonna grab some of this other greenery, and I'm gonna poke one right here in the middle to do a cap. You guys know that's the crown, what we call the crown on your floral bouquet. So I'm gonna put one right here on the crown. And I'm gonna start using some of these greeneries. And remember, what goes up must come down, and what happens on the left happens on the right. If you just keep that in mind, you will always have very cohesive florals, because you'll always have that look on your greenery, on your florals, on everything that you do. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add this one right here. Great, so that's our greenery. So far, so good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my hydrangea. So I'm going to add one right here. And then I'm gonna go opposite side to the next, this one I put right here facing me. Now I'm gonna do one facing you all. And as you guys can see, it gives it that as if you were making one centerpiece together. That's how you would insert, but you have to split them apart. And when you put it on your table, it's gonna look very cohesive. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start adding some of these roses, and I'm gonna add a set of 3 over on this side. And then I'm gonna spin it around, and I want a set of 3 over on this side to mimic the other side. And when you put them together, it'll look like a bigger area, or you have roses in a bigger area. You see how these two meet together right here? That's exactly what I wanted. Then I'm gonna spin it around, and I move on to this right here, and I'm gonna do a set of 2, one facing up, one facing down, like this. And then I'm gonna spin around, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing with this over here. So I'm gonna bring this right here. Oh my gosh, and I just love the sound of foam. When the flowers are poking the foam, is just my favorite. All right, so far so good. I have 2 more, so I'm going to put one right here on this side right next to the hydrangea, and then I'm gonna spin around, and I'm gonna bring this one over here. And I have a circle of red roses and a hydrangea, and a circle of red roses and a hydrangea. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of this wax flower. I'm gonna start in the crown, inserting some on top. I'm gonna grab my trusty, beautiful wire cutters that I cannot work without. I'm gonna start cutting these guys in half. I want it to look very natural. This is the exact same technique that I would do if I was working with fresh flowers. You have to follow the same technique. That way you have a very realistic looking floral bouquet. You don't want to have a fake floral bouquet that looks fake. You want to use the same techniques that you would use if you were doing fresh flowers. And at this point, I'm just inserting some of these beautiful wax flower all around the perimeter. I'm gonna add another one here on the crown, and I'm gonna cut this one in half. I only have 2 left, so let me see, where do I need florals? I feel like I need one right here, and I feel like I need, let's see, another one on this side. See what I mean by working with them at the same time as a dual centerpiece? You have to do both of them at the same time, so that way they are cohesive on the look. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put one right here to the side, so that way I can show you actually both. So what I wanna do is I wanna grab some of this ribbon, and I just need to do a tail, and you guys have seen me do this before, but in case you haven't, I like to cut about this much, and I'm gonna cut both of them at the same time. And I love this ribbon. This ribbon is from Shinoda Design Center from last year. I don't know if they still have it or not, but you guys can call Shinoda if you are interested on this ribbon. It really is beautiful, good quality ribbon. You know, it's hard to find nowadays. They definitely have a great selection. So I'm gonna dovetail both of my ends on both of these strips of ribbon. I'm gonna add another one right here, and yet another dovetail over on this side. Now let me bring out my little cleaning rag because it's kind of filthy here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch right here, and I'm gonna gather. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of these picks. They already have the wire on them, and I'm going to swirl this around and tie it really, really tight. So that gives us a little pick with 2 dovetails. And I'm gonna do another one for the other one. So I'm going to put it in half, and then I'm going to gather so it's small, and then put the little pick, and then you grab that little wire that comes with it, swirl it around, and then you kind of fluff. And this one has a thread, so I'm gonna cut that thread. There you go. All right, so now that I have those two, I'm gonna bring my centerpieces back into the picture, like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one and put it right here, just on the top, as a little accent, and split those. And then I'm gonna grab the other one, I'm gonna go over to the other side, and then I'm gonna split them. I'm gonna insert right there. Just a little touch of that fabric. And the last thing we're gonna add is these little picks from Hobby Lobby. Just make sure you play with them, fluff them up. And I'm gonna put it right next to that ribbon, and look at that. How cute is that? Don't forget to fluff these little guys, because that's what's gonna give it more girth. Then I'm gonna add this right here on the top, and look at how cute. I'm gonna actually push this one over there. Look how cute this is. All right, so this is project finished. What? All right, you guys, well, that's all I have for today, and I had so much fun sharing with you these 5 summer DIYs for 4th of July, very patriotic DIYs. If you enjoy them, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, because that really helps the channel. And then also be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know which of the 5 DIYs was your favorite. I cannot wait to come up with brand new ideas on our next video, and I hope you'll come back for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing. You can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.